We certainly anticipated that the judge would take this ruling under advisement. What is disappointing is that this is ultimately going to end up at the Louisiana Supreme Court, something that we said a couple of weeks ago. We would again continue to urge the Supreme Court to be watching this matter and to be able to take it up as quickly and effectively as possible. What you've seen in other states is those Supreme Courts and than here in Louisiana, and that's disappointing because Louisiana has led in protecting the unborn. In fact, it's one of the most pro-life states in the country. To have the Supreme Court just sit there idly while we go through this legal circus is one disappointing. Number two, I think what happened today in the courtroom, and you see the lawyers did a great job of unpacking the statutes. And when you unpack the statutes, you see that the legislature did a very, very good job and took a lot of time to write those particular laws. It's not a generalization like many in the media want to portray it to be. Our laws just don't say abortion is illegal. The legislature painstakingly wrote those statutes again and again. And then the people of this state spoke very clearly in constitutional amendments that we placed on our Louisiana Constitution. So again, we believe that ultimately we will prevail. The rule of law will be upheld. Those people who don't like it have two choices. They can go and try to change the law, but if they find themselves in the minority of ideas, they can pack their bags and they can go somewhere else. In California, it's not a problem, but yet you see these protesters out there as well. So again, I think the both sides ample time. We feel good about it, and we appreciate your time. Any questions y'all may have? Look, I think the plaintiffs have the biggest hurdle. You know, the problem is the plaintiffs are normally not used to losing, right? Because they've been in federal court. The problem is they lost the mothership, which is Roe. And now that Roe has been overturned, they're just not used to being in this position. We feel good about our position. Our legal team is solid. I'm glad to be joined by our Solicitor General here, who has argued a number of these cases in federal court as well. So we intend to uphold Louisiana's laws, and we look forward. We hope that the court would make a ruling pretty quickly. Any other questions? Yeah. You know, that's a great question. We have been talking to the Louisiana Medical Board. We are looking at ensuring that we put out very good, concrete rules so that there is professional, so that doctors understand the care and professional conduct. And of course, Liz and I talked about that just last night. So we're in touch with the medical board. We're talking to them. We hope to have another conversation with them today, and we're working as quickly as possible. The unfortunate thing is it's people like the plaintiffs that delay that, right? That delay our ability to go out and give good guidance to the doctors. Yeah, that's a very important point, because I think the media has gotten this very confused. Y'all should really listen to this. Laws in this state are presumed to be constitutional unless a judge says otherwise. Today, the judge did not say that our statutes were unconstitutional. What that means is that those laws are in effect. All that TRO does is enjoin me or the secretary. It doesn't enjoin another district attorney, and it certainly doesn't excuse someone from breaking the law while that restraining order is in effect. If these laws are found to be constitutional and that conduct, and they engage in that conduct, then they may be held accountable. Look, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just pause for just a second, and I'll let our Solicitor General explain to you give you a great analogy in regards to like our driving laws. Liz, you want to explain to them?
Thanks, Jeff. So I have frequently tried to use the example of driving. all of us have driver's licenses, and we are exposed to prosecution for gross negligent homicide, vehicular homicide, if we are negligent in how we wield our vehicle, right? Doctors are licensed, just like you have a driver's license, they have a license to practice medicine. There are rules and standards on how to do that. They exercise reasonable medical judgment, just like you exercise reasonable judgment when you drive your car. So we all have to go out there and figure out how to follow the law. The law doesn't tell you everything you cannot do in order to avoid being prosecuted. That's the same thing about driving a car. We don't tell you everything you can't do to avoid being charged with negligent homicide or vehicular homicide. But you know, in exercising good judgment, not to go drive your car 150 miles an hour in a wet highway. So I think these are just common sense examples that they misunderstand. I don't think they misunderstand the law. I think they are capitalizing on confusing a lot of people about what the rules are that apply to statutory interpretation.
Yes. Over. We're also working with the Louisiana Department of Health. Actually, we have since the beginning, since the overturning of Roe and the Dobbs decision, we have been in contact with LDH, we have been in contact with the medical board, and we are working as quickly as we can, but we want to make sure that we get out good information based upon the law, and as these court, and again, the other thing that affects that are these court proceedings. Again, that's why we would have certainly appreciated the Supreme Court taking this up. What's amazing is they seem to be able to interpret our tweets better than they can interpret the law, which is an interesting thing. You know, again, I think it's all just trying to bring confusion and theater into the courtroom. Look, I stand by my tweets, you know. I'm fine with it. I just think they use it as a way to just bring theatrics into the courtroom. All right, thank y'all so much. Appreciate it.